Today on the table, we're reviewing a LEGO Marvel set being Spider-Man Peter Parker's Apartment, which retails for $55.
Daddy, are you fucking high? Oh, Daddy, this is you! What are you talking about? Daddy, you're high as fuck if you think this is fucking fair!
Yeah, that's a little crazy. It has only 394 parts, which is a little bad, because, you know, it should have about 500, 550 parts, but we're just going to see if the set's worth the money or not. Taking a closer look at the box, though, you can see we have 4 figures included, and a pretty nice apartment build, which fits into that new LEGO Marvel modular line they introduced with the Spider-Verse set back in January. Going on to the back of the box, though, you can see the behind of our build and everything, more of that kind of street view, which looks nice. You can also get a look at our play features, being that bed flipping up and down, and like a breakaway wall. They also have a fun recreation of the upside down kiss between Peter and MJ on this corner of the box, which just looks really nice and it's a cool reference. Opening the box, you get 4 numbered bags. You get a sticker sheet of 7 stickers. You see there's a reference to Iron Spider on here from Civil War, and it looks pretty good. It's actually a different design from the official minifigure, as you can tell by like the dual molded arms. For the Daily Bugle sticker, it's also odd because it uses the Raimi Spider-Man version of J. Jonah Jameson in that newest train battle set, and not the 2021 Daily Bugle version, which is pretty interesting because they kept pretty much everything else consistent within modern Spider-Man sets. For a few final references on the sticker sheet, you can see a little science fair poster, a picture of him with his trophy, and the #1 prize for that. There's also a reference to Oscorp on here, which is also a set of the same wave. So that's pretty cool that there's some continuity going on here. And oddly enough, 3 instruction manuals. Instruction Manual 1 has you building a Spider-Bot and Hobgoblin's glider. Instruction Booklet 2 has you building MJ and the first floor of the apartment. And the final booklet is that final floor of the apartment with anti-venom. But with all this out of the way, let's get building. Now taking a look at the set fully built, I did have to cut off the time lapse there just because I got a phone call, but now we got it fully built. It looks pretty solid, to be honest. You know, I thought it would look worse and smaller, but it's actually like a pretty, you know, decent size. Here's like a can for comparison. You know, it's not a great comparison. So it's just like a little bit bigger than a can. Probably, it's about 6 inches tall. Overall, it was a pretty solid build itself. Had some pretty nice building techniques here and there. Has some cool details throughout. But we're just going to check out the minifigures first. Yeah! For our first figure, we do have Spider-Man, of course. He has this little web accessory, which is, you know, just him shooting his web. Pretty simple there. It uses the same pieces we've been having for the past years. And for the figure himself, he's a pretty mid variant of Spidey. No dual molded legs,
I can't stand Spider-Man! I can't stand him!
which is a little unfortunate for a almost $60 set. And it's unfortunate because we've had other smaller sets get dual molded legs.
Wait. Pause. We're gonna hold up a second. I don't understand LEGO inflation. LEGO has gone beyond even what regular inflation is. And I just don't get it. I don't get where in their mind they think this is possible. Tell me how the most expensive set before this Peter Parker apartment set that has no dual molded legs at $55 was a $50 set with Spider-Man and Venom mechs that are big. While this is a tiny little soupy apartment. It makes no sense. The most expensive set was that $50 set, and the cheapest is a freaking $6 keychain. Make this make sense. It doesn't. You literally cannot justify Lego anymore.
Now, as you can tell, the Peter Parker face and hairpiece is the same one from the Daily Bugle, so they are keeping some consistency of the line there, unlike that J. Jonah Jameson poster. But there is still flaws with this minifigure. As you can tell, that arm printing's absolutely atrocious. I have heard that the arms on the keychain variant of this figure are way better printed, so I might check that out whenever I do like my customs and upgrades and everything. But overall, it's just a pretty simple Spider-Man figure, and especially like when you put the mask on, the mask on, it's literally just like the 2021 Spider-Man variant. Then for our second reused character of the set, we have Anti-Venom, and this is a really nice figure. He does also have a similar web accessory, just a different end to it. So it's not, anything too crazy. But I actually don't have this figure, as I waited since we knew the rumor already of, we'd be getting Anti-Venom again in the summer. So I just skipped out on that mech and just had some patience and got this set. And I actually really like this figure. Just looking at him, man, he has some really nice detail to the torso and to the head print. It just shows like a lot of character, and I can't wait to post him up with some of my other symbiote figures. And for our first like truly new figure of the set, we have a Mary Jane figure, and I do believe that her head is reused. It's been used on a bunch of different figures, but that torso, I am not 100% sure, but I'm like 99% sure that is a new print, and it does look fine. But I think if Lego was going out of their way to make a new print, they should have done like a more classic look for Mary Jane. This does feel like it's closer to a stylization between the mix of the Insomniac games and the comics in terms of like the hair, and then the clothing feels like more so what the Mary Jane from the games would wear instead. And for our first and final truly new figure of the set, we have Hobgoblin. Now, we have had him before in the past, but this is a new variant, all new prints and everything. And it's just a really nicely done figure. It has cool details, like it uses the new rubberized Batman cape, which like isn't my favorite, but I do think it works pretty decently well for this figure. And then it also reuses the Marvel Studios CMF Series 2 Moon Knight hood. And I just really like how it looks here. It's like a perfect use of that piece. And it's actually our first time getting that piece outside of that CMF. He also comes with the new Pumpkin Bomb accessories. And you may be thinking, like, these aren't new. They're the same dual molded pieces that we've had since, like, 2016. But you're actually wrong, as it comes apart into two pieces now. If I can get it. Let's just do it like this. But you can see this is in two pieces. So you have your pumpkin head, and then this really nice flame piece. And that just opens up the door to, like, a Flame On Johnny Storm.
Flame on! Sorry, what now?
I do believe we'll see the same kind of function again in the new $10 Ghost Rider bike set that we're getting in January of next year. But, it's just a really exciting innovation for the line, and something we should have had long ago. Taking a closer look at our Hobgoblin, though, he has a really nice torso design. There's, like, some musculature there. You can see some, like, bunching up and, like, his hood at the top of the torso. And overall, I just really like this torso. I think this torso is better than our former one. It would have been cool to get, like, the bag molded piece instead of, like, it printed on. But, it's nice either way. I don't think it would have fit with the cape. A cloth cape also would have been really nice, but I do think this is probably one of the better examples of them using the newer capes. Now, the only place where this figure is really, like, bad is the legs, as, they're not dual molded like the last one, so there's no side leg printing. It's just the dark blue in the front, which does have some nice, like, texture, the fish scale kind of texture of his suit. I really like how that's represented. It would have been cool if they continued that on the arms, but since this is on, I guess, the cheaper end, even though it's still almost $60, he didn't get that. And then there's also some nice little toe printing for the elf shoes. And overall, it's just a really solid figure. You can also see there's, like, great alternate face print, with that being, like, his smile. I really love how they did the eyes on this. It just looks like a massive upgrade over that last one. And the last one's like a really great figure too, but this one, has some nice improvements that you could really combine those two and make an ultimate Hobgoblin figure. Now, before we get to the build, we're going to take a look at the side builds, which are just like two tiny little vehicles, the first being for Spider-Man, and it has like this little lever, you know, just pull it back and forth, nothing too special there. But there is also this like sticker, which I did not line up correctly. It's like a little bit to the left, and it's a nice sticker, but you know, since I did mess it up, it's a little bit odd. But it doesn't bother me too bad, especially for a side build that I don't really care about or see myself using whatsoever. But you can put Spider-Man in here. It's like a little spider bot, so he does have the 8 legs on there, and it looks pretty nice. Walking on my spider. Bam. And then his legs all drop down because he dead. I'm dead. Oh, he's gone. You know, just a little simple thing for them to boost up the price. And then for the second and better side build, we have the Hobgoblin glider, which I really do like. I do have the last Green Goblin glider we got from the No Way Home set on me right here. And we can just compare these both. There is no articulation up and down on this, and it does have those nice spikes here and here. While this one is like articulated here, so you can kind of bend back, but it's not really supposed to. Like, I don't see a use for that. But you do get like these little like turrets here and some spikes here. Overall, both builds are really nice. I think the sticker detailed on this does make it a better build overall. And I'm pretty sure this is similar to what we got in the latest Summer Wave with the Green Goblin glider, but I'm not too sure since I don't own that set yet because it's just a little bit overpriced for me at the moment.
Ew, Paul!
Another cool thing about this build is, you know, he has this little thruster on the back of the glider, which can articulate in itself, and the flame does spin. But the only thing I don't really like about this build is that there's like a huge like raise of like 2 plates for this thing to go on, which doesn't look that bad with your figure on there. Like, he looks good. Like, I like angling it back more than what the instructions show, so it has like a sharper build to it. But like, once he's on there, he looks pretty tough. Overall, I think this is probably the best side build out of them, and I just love the Hobgoblin section of this build, and it was what really pushed me to buy this set because I didn't get the last Hobgoblin set. Now that the minifigs and the side builds are out of the way, we're just going to take a look here. We got a really nice design for this apartment. We have a few different colors. We see a mix of the dark tan and regular tan, along with just sprinkles of green, dark red, and dark blue. I actually do really enjoy the color scheme for this, and it does look pretty sweet. You can see we have a sticker detail for the apartment number on the front here. And since it is part of the Marvel modular line, there is the Technic pins to connect to other sets. I really do like how this looks. You can see there's nice details on the side of just like the brickwork. And then there's some more sticker details on this side. You can see we have that same Daily Bugle sticker I showed earlier. Has that Spider-Man Daily Bugle Menace newspaper. There's even like some cool graffiti detail on there. Moving lower, there is another window over here, which I really do like how they're designed. That splash of dark blue above every window just looks really nice. And there's also this cool part where it comes out a little bit in the front here, and it just kind of like pokes out the build on the side. And I like how there's more depth to it, and it doesn't feel so like just like a box. Wait. Looking then at the roof here, you can see there's like this, like, I think it's supposed to be like a ladder, or like some kind of like grate or like vent or something. I can't really tell you what it's supposed to be, but it's a really nice design. Kind of just makes it safe from being just a regular roof. And then there's also a play feature on the outside here. If you turn it around, you see there's this Technic pen, and then if you just push it out like so, oh no.
A few moments later.
You just push it out like so. The wall goes flying. Now, this is a pretty cool play feature, but I don't know. I find it was a little bit complicated to figure out at first. I don't like how they left like a little gap there. I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to be. I'm an idiot. Plot twist, it wasn't how it's supposed to be built. I forgot this 1x2 flat tile. Now it looks complete. There's only like a little bit of like gappage sometimes along like the seams, but it honestly isn't too bad, and it's a pretty neat play feature. It's just for like Hobgoblin throwing his pumpkin bomb there. And then you can also see there's these little flames that can either just sit on like the ground, or they can connect all over your building. And also they just look nice. They're little features to add, just some more playability to it for the kids, and it's just nice. Looking closer here, you can see there's some nice foliage by all the windows here. We got the air conditioning units, and they're just pretty neat. I do like how they look. The only thing I don't really like is the inconsistency between the windows here. Like this one's 2, this one's 2, and then they got this one at 1. I'm not sure if it would have fit, but I feel like it would have. You can just like throw the other window in there. But, you know, I still really do like the outside of this build. Now take a look at the interiors. We're going to start with the first floor. It's like a little kitchen. It's simple, but it's nice. There is like these action post stands, I guess, to set your figures with. They don't really tell you in the instructions, to my knowledge. But it is cool. The door does come in this way, which I thought it would go the other way, but I actually do like, because it does fill it out on the side. So they kind of left this blank. It would have been cool if there's like a sticker for, you know, maybe some more shelves, or like a board or something, just to make it have some more character. And you do get some little drawers and a cabinet there under the sink. It's not like a too detailed of a build. There's like a very, very simple stove. They didn't even include like a little piece for it. It's just all brick built basically. Along with the sink, it's not detailed whatsoever either. So if bro turned on that water, it'd just be flowing anywhere.
You let that sink in.
Overall, it's a very bare bones build, but I do like it. It just has just enough room for you to play around with your characters, but it does leave a little to be desired in terms of detail. Then for our second floor here, you can see it's kind of like Peter's bedroom. This chair actually spins, unlike the 2 on the bottom floor. And you can just see there's some really cool stuff here. You can see his computer screen there with just the Daily Bugle website, some cool art of Venom on there, and it just looks nice. You can see his camera's also sat down, and there's a little nice keyboard print. You can also see this kind of reference to No Way Home, with there being like the sewing machine on his desk. I like it. I like how this looks. It does feel like this section, see this thing breaks off easy. It does feel like this section takes up a lot of extra room. There is this kind of box going on with a lid, which I find kind of odd that they like wasted 2 parts when you could just put this plate directly against this. I feel like that's how they fluffed the piece count of these sets. But overall, it's like not too bad. There's not a whole lot of room to play around up here, but there is some other cool details throughout this section, some cool little references. There's that sticker again of where he, you know, won the science fairs and everything, and the Oscorp Easter egg. Then if you flip the bed up here, you can also see there's that same Easter egg of the Iron Spider suit, which does look pretty cool under there. It looks like he's just hiding some notes from like Aunt May or something. This would be a cool set to have if you also have the Spider-Man 2 battle set, because you can, you know, just put that Aunt May in here and have a Peter and Aunt May together. This set's also very nice because it is modular, so you can just kind of click these together, and you can combine them with your other modular sets. Now, I did have the Miles sets, the Spider-Verse one, but that has been sacrificed to the bin and to my custom Batcave MOC, which I am working on still. Overall, I think it's like a decent build. I'd probably give it like a 7. It leaves a little bit to be desired with having a little more playroom or just room to get your fingers in there. I feel like for little kids, it couldn't be as much of a problem, but with me, that's pretty meaty claws here.
If some people didn't try to play with big meaty claws!
It just doesn't give you much room to play around. I do think that the play feature of the whole like breakout corner is pretty cool, and it's pretty smooth actually. Another play feature with this set, which I didn't discuss, is this web you can connect to the front. And you can just really capture any villain in it, but you can just throw, you know, Anti-Venom in there. And, yep, you can see what he looks like just sitting in there. It's not too bad. It just bulks up the front a bit. It does actually stand out a great bit. But, you know, overall, I think it's a really cool piece. And some cool innovation in terms of, like, web accessories from the Marvel team. It just doesn't offer you much else. This does seem to be something where once you have the others, it will feel cooler. As a standalone, you're really coming here for the figures. Now, for one of my other major problems with this set, which I didn't mention, is this does not really have a place to put Hobgoblin. Like, you can put him, like, here, and he's kind of flying. But with the innovation of these angled flying pieces, I think it would have been much better if you can, you know, just snap him on there, and they just found a way to just throw one of the Technic pieces here. Like, you can easily replace, like, this brick, like you can do a 1x2 here and then just put a 1x1 there, and it would have functioned the same, but you could actually have your character flying, and it would have been cool, because then you could have a cool display going of your villain just fighting Spider-Man and everything. But right now, we're kind of left at a place where you can't do that. And I think that's even more annoying and ignorant of the team to do when there is other holes in this set for you to attach at least this piece. Then you could at least have your figure attached to this, which wouldn't look the best for display, but it's still somewhere to add another play feature. And I think if I was Lego, I would have invested into looking at more play features for this set, as it only really has the web and the breakaway wall. It would have been cool just for at least the display purpose to include just one of these bars. Overall, though, I do think this set is pretty good. It's one where I do recommend it only at a discount, unless you don't have a Hobgoblin figure, which I really like this Hobgoblin figure, and it makes it hard to not want to recommend it to people. But when there's such little build, like when it's not a very playful build, or like when there's not a lot of space to have your figures in, it makes it hard to recommend. I think at least like 20% off, then I'd say it's a little more worth it. You know, I'd say anything under $50, I think you can get your money's worth here. But at $55 with tax and everything, I just don't think you get your full value's worth. But once you hit like 40, 45, then at least you get that price per piece more in check. But that's all I got for this video, guys. Let me know what you thought of this set down below, and you can go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. But again, that's all I got for you guys tonight. Hope you guys have a great day. See ya.
A little Spider-Man parody.
Boom, boom, boom. Ooh. Beep, 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 beep. I wonder what MJ cooked for dinner. Go in the door. No, Spider-Man.